Should we start, Rekha ji? Okay. Here we go. Good evening and welcome everyone to the first episode of the Anurag Gupta Memorial Photography Exposition, brought to you very specially by the Art Sanctuary. I'm Shalini and I represent a team of really committed trainers and volunteers who work with special needs young adults in the art space. Today we are talking to you about photography in the sphere of art. We want to bring to you the beautiful pieces of art created through the camera by special needs young adults from across the country, as well as neurotypical young adults from various prestigious institutions in the country, not just from India, but also from the UK, from the rest of Europe, and from the US. We feel very, very honored that we are able to conduct this photography exposition. The results will be announced by our esteemed judge, Samar Jodha, who will be in conversation with Ms. Shweta Rajpal Kohli. So hold your horses while we announce the results. But before that, let me just give you a brief account of why this photography exposition. It is in memory of my very, very good friend, Anurag Gupta, who was a corporate leader, but more importantly, an avid photographer. He won not only national but international awards for his photography. And more importantly, he never said no if anyone approached him for mentorship in this field. And I was one such person who tried to understand the ropes of photography when we wanted to look at photography, very especially for my daughter Gayatri. We have his wife, Nupur Gupta, joining us tonight, and we will talk to her in a little while. Before that, in the true spirit of what Anurag represented and what the Art Sanctuary stands for, let me also tell you that this photography exhibition is not an exhibition but an exposition. We are conducting it like a festival where we are not just celebrating and showcasing the beautiful photographs that were submitted by our audience, by our participants, but also we are holding workshops on the side. So there are 2 workshops that are going to be organized. The details of this will be flashed as we go along on the broadcast strip. So all photography enthusiasts, irrespective of whether you have participated in the show or not, are welcome to join this free workshop being held on the 25th of February by Samar and on the 4th of March by Mohit Ahuja, another leading photographer in this space. So now I have gone on and on for long enough, and I think I need a breather. So I will hand the mic to Dr. Rekha Ramchandran. Rekha ji is someone I have known for the last 19 years, ever since Gayatri came into my life. But more importantly, she is a force to reckon with. And guess why? She holds a Guinness Book of World Record for knowing the maximum number of persons with Down syndrome. Now, that is something to say. And believe you me, you can put up an individual with Down syndrome, whether it's a baby of a few months old or an individual in his or her 30s and 40s, and there's no way Rekha Ramchandran does not know that person. She knows them, she knows the family, she knows the siblings, she knows what kind of fights the husband and wife have, and she's been included in a lot of ours too. But this photography exposition has been supported by the Down Syndrome Federation of India, of which she is the president. The entire technical support, we are zilch at this, we as in the Art Sanctuary, so the entire technical support comes from the Down Syndrome Federation of India, and the lead person, I keep calling her my chief technical officer, is Mrs. Parul Singh. She's behind the curtain today, but it is because of her expertise that we are being able to showcase this and broadcast it live. Over to you, Rekha ji, for your words.
Hi, a very, very warm welcome to all those who have joined in for the most colorful and creative award night show of 2021. The Down Syndrome Federation of India is honored to be associated with artists who have showcased their talent in this show. Art Sanctuary is the haven for every aspiring artist, and we are here only to encourage them. Art Sanctuary is the brainchild of Shalini Gupta. Shalini is Gayatri's mother. It was Gayatri who inspired her family into this creative space and made the world sit up and recognize the latent talent that was within each person, with whom we call determination. With pride, I can and have to say that Gayatri is my child and a part of the Down Syndrome Federation of India family. I would also take this absolutely amazing opportunity to wish every artist all the best. I hope I continue to be a part of the Art Sanctuary, which to me is the, the best thing that happened for every artist, creative artist, painter, or anyone who wants to actually show up his talent, because all these years we had absolutely no ground to exhibit our art. This is the best thing that happened to us, and I thank everyone who is a part of this for whatever you have contributed towards bringing our children right into the forefront. Thank you so much. All my blessings and best wishes for an absolutely amazing award night. Thank you so much, Shalini. Thank you for making me a part of this show. Thank you.
The honor is completely ours, Rekha ji. Thank you for your kind words. I know all of you participants are looking forward to understanding and knowing the results. I know this is all too much. The wait has been too long. And we've extended the deadline also once because there were a lot of participants who, because of the COVID, wanted more time. So without much ado, let me quickly introduce you to your esteemed judge, Samar Singh Jodha. Samar is one of the best known photographers I have come across. But he's also an installation artist, something that many people do not know, working across Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. He is also the judge of the National Geographic cover shot and a TED speaker. But more importantly, he works with a passion with the youth, and his main theme is that he believes that the youth in any country is the power behind and the motivating force behind any social impact and social change that can be brought about. He is the founder of the Red Balloon, and an organization which does the same large-scale mobilization and impact-driven work with young children as well as the youth in the country. Samar, would you like to say something now, or will you speak only when I introduce you to Shweta?
No, I think I've had more than enough introductions, so we can get on with it. I think everybody wants to see what the pictures are and what kind of
Yeah,
feedback and what has gone behind in all the hard work. So I'm ready
right.
for it.
So I'm quickly going to bring on Shweta Rajpal Kohli. Shweta, Parul, can we have Shweta on the screen, please? Hi,
Thank you,
Shweta.
Shalini. Great to be
Welcome.
here. Thank you.
So Shweta is currently the head of public policy at Sequoia Capital and has been a leading member of management teams at Salesforce and Uber. But prior to her entry into the public policy arena, She has been a business journalist as well as a TV news anchor. She brings to us a very different flavor. I will notice now. Thank you. Just hold your guns, Parul. Please bring Shweta back. Yes, that's the way. Thank you, Parul. Shweta, I also want our audience to know that she has been rated amongst the 10 top most influential women by in the area of advertising and marketing and media by the Impact magazine, and has been there on their Twitter handle as the top 10 influential women. So welcome, Shweta. I really hope you enjoy yourself today and that you have a lovely conversation with Samar.
Thank you so much, Shalini. It's really an honor and a privilege for me to be here, and totally in my personal capacity today, because the reason I'm here is because of Anurag, because of Nupur. I have the honor of and privilege of having known Anurag as a friend and a colleague when I worked at the Times of India. And I think each and every person who has joined this event today has volumes to talk about what a wonderful person Anurag was. Of course, his photography par excellence, his corporate skills are unmatched. But I think everyone who has been touched by Anurag in any which way will have so many stories, will remember the warmth and the friendship in such a special way. So thank you, Nupur, for thinking of me, and thank you for including me in this event in the memory of Anurag Gupta, who is clearly a legend in many ways. It's also a very special moment for me because as a mother of two children, especially my daughter, who has taught me a lot about neurodiversity, my 10-year-old daughter, who has helped me understand what really it means to be creative, even though you have intellectual difficulties or any in many ways, if you do not fall in the spectrum of being neurotypical. So with that, I don't want to waste any more time and bring on the big special guest that we have today, who everyone wants to listen into, Samar Jodha. Such a pleasure for me to be talking to you today, to talk all about photography, to talk all about creativity, and especially what it meant for you to be judging this very, very special photography exposition. Samar, if we could have you on, it would be fantastic. Thank you, Parul.
Excellent.
Samar, let's give
thanks,
the
Shweta. How are you?
Very well, Samar, and thank you for being here. And we're super excited to have this conversation with you, especially given that there are so many participants who are waiting to know the results. But I think the wait would be a little bit longer. But I assure you that it will be worthwhile, because we're going to dive deeper into Samar's career and his journey and try and understand a lot about his fantastic career that he's had over these years. Samar, what an inspirational story. Why don't we step back a little, and why don't you tell us a little more about what inspired you to take on photography as a profession?
Take on photo. Yeah, well, I was, I grew up in many parts of the world, and one was in East Africa, and this was on foothills of Kilimanjaro. I was a student in an international boarding school, and I got my first camera there, and that's where it started. But over a period of time, I traveled. I came back to India. I mean, my parents moved back, and I went to NID for a little while, and then I went to a bunch of schools in the West, film school and art school, and photography schools. I've been in my space for past 30 years. I started as a commercial advertising fashion photographer. I moved back to India way back in the early 90s, and got into publishing. And then came a point where I got done with publishing. So I moved to Dubai, and I set up a corporate communication company where we conceptualized the building of, filming rather, and photographing building of the world's tallest tower, Burj Khalifa there. So that was my connection to architecture. And other than that, I basically work in conflict area. And what I mean by conflict is this whole urbanization and consumption culture, how it marginalizes people and their way of life. And that it's extended to doing photography workshops with kids, which I have worked in, Palestinian camps in Jordan, or, a lot of albino children who unfortunately get killed in East Africa, or working in South Asia, right in Delhi, working with, Bangladeshi rag pickers, calling these kids. So it's really about, what I do is it's not about making photographers. And today, as we all know, that picture making has become much easier. So trying to get a career out of it is not that simple. So my exercise is really about empowerment and, getting the creative stuff out there. And especially, I very strongly believe that, yes, children obviously are a lot more creative than most of us on the treadmill of our lives, It's we don't have the time, or we don't have any more right brain left, basically.
Right, right. And interesting, absolutely interesting to know how it all started, how it began, Samar. When we talk about creativity and creativity as a part of the, visual arts medium, it means different things to different people. And as so many people, so many young students are listening into you, share with us what you think is creativity in your lens.
Right. So, what I want to talk to, and we won't talk more about me, because I think let's hear how picture process largely works, the larger picture of it. So creativity, it's a very, what I would say, it's a very boxed concept. People think that creativity is that you got to be a painter, or photographer, a musician, or a dancer, or something to do with, a performance of whatever kind. I believe that everybody has creativity. I was talking on some other forum a couple of weeks back, and the creativity is what kind of clothes you wear, what kind of food you make, how you arrange furniture in your house. This is all creativity. That's all being creative. Now, you may apply it differently. You may apply it as with a camera, or you may apply it with being a chef, or you may apply it with painting or whatever. So I don't think people should really get so stressed about that. I'm not creative. A lot of people say, "Oh, I'm not creative," but I'm not creative. But you are creative. You present yourself in a certain way. There is a thought behind it. So we all do have that. That right brain is there, but unfortunately, we clouded up with whatever this modern education and these tools of survival we collect, and that's why I always believe that children are still very open to it. Their imagination is so much more, as we all know. You being a parent, you would know that how your kids are so much open to doing something, and you really wonder, and it's such a simple process. That's the best part, because I think creativity, when you start trying very hard, then it starts blocking your, there's no flow. Then it becomes very mechanized. And mechanized means then you might as well do mathematics, because that's logical space, and
Right, Samar. Let's talk a little about the exposition and the concept behind it, because in many ways this is special. As we said, it's special because, one, it's being done in the memory of Anurag, who we all know and remember so fondly. But more importantly, it is also being done to promote inclusion and diversity. And when you bring together, as you said, children and creativity along with the entire concept of inclusion and diversity, as someone who I would term as almost a philanthropist, Samar, you've worked with diverse populations, you've worked to promote inclusion in the arts. Share with us why you think this is different and special.
Yeah, so I think these are all very I would say life lessons. When I have worked with kids in, let's say, in Afghanistan, working with children there, the conflict was about education. When you have any kind of, as we all know, what's been happening in Afghanistan, the first place they pull the plug is education, and especially on girl children. So my work was really around that, where I have 50 cameras. We go there. I spend 10 days. Workshops, kids learn how to take pictures, and they become, so it's not really picture business. What I'm talking about is storytelling. Storytelling can be one single image or many more images, but it's a tool to express yourself. And coming back to what we are here with under Art Century's umbrella, this is purely about expression. It's not really about that how good are you technically, and and see, best part about art is that it's like going to a music concert. We can be 1,000 people in there. We each would like, and we each love the musician and whatever their performance is. But comes a point where you cannot articulate that, oh, I really love that specific thing, because it's just a feeling. You cannot necessarily express it in a very logical words, basically. And that's what I feel. So I very strongly, I mean, we had hundreds of pictures come through on this platform for this, not for just award, but for people participating. And I mean, it took me quite some time to go through it, because there were some brilliant pictures. And again, the idea again was not about, am I judging it because the composition is so perfect and the light is so perfect? It's not that. It's the feeling, and that's the whole idea how these images have been shortlisted. There were many. I wish there were many more prizes, but then I guess you can't have so many of them. So we have picked those top 3, and then there are, of course, some other ones who are gonna be showcased. I mean, we're gonna have 50 final images which will go up on the screen, through this virtual exhibition. But I must say the most important part was that everybody had their own language. It's about what you want to say. And I may be a professional photographer for the past 30 years. I may have a different way of saying it, but we all have our own identity, how we express. And I think this slot was great. It was very inspiring for me, I must say.
Right, Samar, in fact, I was talking to Shalini, and the Art Sanctuary was also truly overwhelmed by the fact that they received 500 entries, clearly more than they had expected. But it's not just about the number of entries, as you're saying, it's the quality. It's the fact that each image in many ways has an expression, is telling a story, is a piece of art in its own way. I think that's what makes it truly special. And I'd love for you to talk a little more about the fact that there were 2 different categories. And of course, you've said how hard it was for you as the judge to pick on the winners. And I clearly understand that you would be in a very, very difficult spot if there are so many wonderful images from which you have to pick on just a few winners. And I'm glad that there are 50 who would be ultimately recognized. But share with us the fact that we had 2 different categories, that you were evaluating images, one category for the differently able children, the other for younger adults who would fall in the neurotypical category. What did that mean to you, and how did that really impact you and the entire judging process?
Yeah, so the first category, of which is the category A, which is definitely enabled, those kids, I would say, actually, I was really impressed with what they had sent. And the reason I'd say is that, I don't have, immediate family or somebody where I have seen the struggles and trying to be part of that normalcy, which what we define what normalcy is. Everybody has their own normalcy. That's their normalcy. And but I've worked with enough children, and each time I see that it is such a struggle in so many ways. And let's say picture making. Can I tell you, I picked up my camera first time when I was 13, and believe you me, at 13 and 14 and 15, my pictures couldn't match to what these kids have delivered, and I generally mean that, because they are not blocked by mechanics, how to load a film, how do I focus. So, that rubbish is out of the window. It is purely about what's in your mind and how you're seeing it and what do you want to express. And I think that was something really, really special about each of them. So as I said earlier too, I wasn't really looking at, the technicalities of it, because this is not a professional, competition run by Nikon or something where everything has to be just the right way. But, this is such pure feeling, and they were so brilliant. So I had a tough time pulling out that one. And then the second category, which we are looking at, is students. Again, students who are practicing, whatever they are studying. I really believe that, with the foundation and with Art Sanctuary, the whole idea was really let these children express whatever their thought is, and give them a platform to showcase something, because they can't go and participate in professional setups, because that's a very different space altogether, different kind of gear, different kind of ability, experience, blah, whatever that is. So, and again, there were a lot of really brilliant pictures there. which again, I had a tough time locating the right ones. And there's no way I would say that other than the winners, the rest don't work. They do work, but it's just that we have very limited space on top of it. So my apologies in case if your pictures didn't make it, but there was definitely a great learning, and you will see it in the gallery, so you will know how it was.
Right, Samar. I think everyone is a winner. The fact that they participated, the fact that they took part in the process makes them a winner. But yes, you had the tough task of picking a few. Why don't we now move on to the real moment, which is announcing the winners? And I think the best way to do that, perhaps, is by playing out a video that will tell you the names of the winners, and also will showcase the images that won them the prize. So, Parulji, if we can pull out for category A the winners, I'd be grateful. All right, indeed. Many congratulations to the winners. And Samar, what powerful images. And I totally understand when you mean that there is a language of expression. There's a language of each photograph in some ways expressing and speaking. Share with us a little more about why you picked some of these images, or at least what motivated you to pick these winners.
Yeah. So, typically when we say architecture photography, we end up doing is going to heritage sites, because that's how conventionally people think, which is going to the Taj Mahal or whatever property which lies in your town. You will shoot a fort or a palace or something. You got to remember that pictures are not about what is in front of you. Pictures are about how you are looking at things. If you see these images which were up there, they are very ordinary situation at some level. There is the winner, let's say, talking about it was a big tall building, and touching the sky, and you have birds there. It's such a beautiful observation of seeing that free spirit of a bird. And it doesn't matter whether the birds were at the right time or not, but the spirit is so well captured. You see another one which is with that stone jali and the light coming through. You're just aware of, you're looking at these very finer things. And I think that is really, and that's how I basically worked on picking out these very diverse images and not getting caught up into this modern architecture or the heritage part of it. But it was more about observation of how you look at, just ordinary things, So that's the way these images were judged,
Yeah, very interesting, and I think interesting lens from which you've judged these. When you look at these images, and of course there was a theme that was there, and as you said, that it was not. It's also more important that you're not sticking to the theme in a conventional way of the theme, but there have been offbeat images. There have been images that are just bringing out something that you would otherwise not see from that perspective. What would be your advice to young aspiring photographers, especially coming from the kind of images that you've seen? You've shared a lot already, but moving forward, what would you advise many people who are looking at taking on photography as a profession, as a full-time occupation? What would you tell them, especially in terms of learnings from this particular exposition?
Yeah. So, one very critical part is that, do not waste your money going into fancy schools of photography, because you're just going to come out of it learning the mechanics of it. And today, mechanics don't have any value because of technology. You can do the same thing, on your phone also. And if, let's say, photography is your passion, I always say this, any kind of creative process, whatever that engagement is, let's say photography here, if it is your passion, it's really important to to grow and keep that passion for life, because we have very few people in this world who actually have any passion left, because once you grow up, you just get caught up into, as I keep saying, on that treadmill of life, of survival and pressures and whatever that is. But if you have a passion, so let's say photography is a passion, stop connecting it to make a living out of it, because what you're doing is you're putting so much of pressure on something which you have no control over. Passion you have control over because you're doing it. But if you're going to start measuring it with that, what kind of success you're going to have commercially, or what kind of fame am I going to get, how people are going to perceive, how I'm going to be known across the world, blah, blah, all that stuff. What you're doing is you're actually slowly eating into it. And I think if it makes money for you, if it is seen across the world, whatever, great. These are all, I would say, bonuses. But do not take it away from what you so closely feel inside, because otherwise what happens is that you will start having frustration, and there'll come a point of time where you're like, oh my God, why am I doing this? Nobody likes it. It doesn't sell. I haven't got commission. I haven't made money out of it. And what you're doing is you're measuring that in a very, very wrong way. So, when you have a passion of whatever, even if you play a flute, that is you. Don't get caught up in the external part of it. I mean, I understand you have to survive, get a day job, go get something else. But do not live on something which you so are gifted. Everybody is gifted as a child, but unfortunately it disappears as we get older. But some of them survive it with that. So if you have it, why give away this gift? You got to celebrate it and keep the purity of it.
I think very, very, words of wisdom really from Samar, because I think if there was one person who was the epitome of exactly what Samar said, it was Anurag, who clearly had a day job, and he really was acing it. I mean, what a successful corporate leader. And look at what he did with his passion. I mean, he did the two side by side and excelled at both. I mean, a classic example of why you needn't necessarily make that a profession, but the fact that you can continue to pursue your passion itself is critical. And photography is clearly one such thing which can start as a hobby, as a passion, but it's something that you should continue doing because it allows you to creatively express yourself and achieve so much satisfaction and happiness. I think, Samar, let's move on to the next category, because I know there are people waiting. So Parulji, on that note, if we can play out the second video announcing the names of the winners. Well, Samar, another set of absolutely brilliant images. I mean, really, it is hard to not appreciate what we've seen right now, and it's absolutely understandable why you picked some of these. Any thoughts that you'd like to, share with us in choosing these images?
Yeah, again, I think here, it's all observation, like the picture, which was the first photo. You can see that, looking down the staircase, it's your perspective, how you have created this, the spiral case looking down to infinity, and there's a person there. It's a very good imagination of combining. And because there's a person on the bottom, kind of gives you the scale also, if you want to really get very creative feedback or whatever. I really also like the other image, which was in the mention, where it was the black and white one with all the chairs. So architecture photography doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be, just with tall buildings or heritage sites. It's just observation about its human habitat, how it plays to the context. The black and white image, of course, was a heritage site, but what made it really impactful was what that person did was the way those clouds had taken that cover on the top, where it made it so dynamic. And the choice of doing it in black and white also very attractive, because of course a red stone building, which and white and all that, it would have been a very obvious choice. But the person took a chance and tried to do something else with it. So these were really some really great set of images. I think there was again, it was tough to pick out the right ones, which could be sitting on the top.
Right, Samar. Yes, as we said, it's a hard job always to pick winners, especially when you have such great quality of entries. Samar, we've obviously announced the winners, but as a photographer who's got so many accomplishments to your credit, share with us a story about the one image or the one picture that you think has been the closest to your heart, or a story behind it that you would like to share with the audience. Why would you say that is the most special photograph for you, the one that has been taken by you yourself?
Oh man, I don't think I can really comment on my own pictures, because but what I would say is
Story, one of them,
since
if you'd like to pick a story behind any photograph that is.
So I'll give a context to picture making, which was, I think, about 25, 30 years back. I had gone to Lucknow. The Taj property was setting up their first hotel there, and I think it was in '93 or something. And so this is it was an amazing, learning lesson, I would say, life lesson rather. So I was walking on the street, and it was in the month of June. It was hot and, very bright, sunny day and all that stuff. And I was taking pictures of these beautiful mansions owned by the old Nawabs of Lucknow, which was part of this Taj magazine, the editorial that I was doing. And I got to a door, I took this picture, it was all white. And then I knocked at the door because I wanted the name of the owner and some detail about when it was built and all that. One gentleman, his house help or whatever, came out, and he said, okay, let me take you inside. You can ask the owner. Nawab Saab se aap baat kariye. So he took me to one room, and which was very dark. And I was coming from a very bright day, so I couldn't see. And then he took me to another room, and it was pitch dark, and he kind of made me sit down on a chair. And he decided to leave. So I grabbed him, because I was like totally sitting and wondering, why am I sitting in this dark room? And, what's going on? So he said, "Nee, just hang on, whoever the owner, he'll come and speak to you." So I was there for like a minute or two. And then I hear this gentleman speaking, who was obviously the owner of the property. He asked me 2, 3 questions. I had a few answers, what it was for, and blah, blah, all that. And he said, of course, you can take a picture. Next thing, somebody's hand came in, it was his stuff, and he took me out, and I came outside. And I said, thanks very much. But, I was just wondering, what is this all about? So he said, the gentleman you met, he's blind, and he meets people in his room where there's no light. And, can I tell you, I was in my 20s that time, and it left such a huge impact, because I think, and it's a very emotional thing when I think about it, that, you never realize what it takes for people who don't have that normalcy, what we define in our world. It takes, and that is something you can apply on anything. You can apply with the kids you work, The politics you think about, the way you deal with your friends, with your relationships with the world, if you keep that in your, so that Nawab Sahib, I don't even know his face. I never saw him. I just heard his voice. But, it has become a permanent thing in my head. And it's such a great reminder that, life is so much more out there of so many people. And you are just so privileged. I'm so privileged to be able to speak and see and do things what I choose to. So, you got to keep in mind that people who don't have it, they are no less than you.
It's really a beautiful story, Samar, and thank you for sharing that with the audience, and especially coming on a platform today where we are celebrating inclusivity, where we are celebrating diversity, and we're celebrating the fact that art can be used as a medium to promote all of these goals. So, really an apt and beautiful story there. We also know, Samar, that the efforts by you, by the Art Sanctuary, are not going to end here with this exposition today, and it's going to be an ongoing series of events that have been planned. Would you like to share a little more about what people can expect here on?
Yeah, so these are all series of workshops, and obviously this virtual world where the exhibition happens. We have the next one, which is going to be on portraiture. They will be announcing the details, including deadlines and all that stuff. Where again, I'd like to talk to, because since there are a lot of young people here who hopefully are going to submit pictures. Again, don't get caught up into that, how much of a old face or how much of a fancy lit up face. Take pictures. You have to take pictures which connect you. That's all matters. And I'm fortunate enough that I've been in this business for a very long time, and I'll be able to read that, and I won't get carried away that, oh, this is really beautiful picture. So, don't get, again, and I keep saying this to even to a lot of professional photographers I mentor, I keep saying that, do not make your picture on basis of that, where is it going to be shown? Will I have an exhibition? Will I have a book? Will I have a prize? Because what you're doing is you're being dishonest with your work. You're being dishonest with yourself. The most beautiful images, a piece of music, painting, art, whatever it is, the artist is actually doing that for himself or herself first. And then comes all the other stuff. If you're going to start putting those end goal already, you miss the whole process, you miss the journey, and then there's no way this is going to come across, and then you wonder that, oh, I put such a great effort, why didn't it win, or whatever that is. So I think just keep that in mind, please, because I'm really looking forward to the next one, which is the portraiture.
All right. In fact, I think we have a video that will speak to what is planned ahead. Parul, if we could play that quickly. So, what you saw there was actually the virtual exhibition, the 50 images that Samar had talked about. And I'm sure many of you would have been pleased to see your work of art there in that virtual exhibition showcased. And I totally understand now, Samar, when you said that it was really a hard process, very tough for you to pick on just a few winners. If we just look at just the kind of work that has been submitted, I mean, just look at those images, each one of them absolutely wonderful. Each photograph has been in many ways, as we said, a winner. And that virtual exhibition will be on for everybody to see, so I think that is something that you must continue to look at. And congratulations to all the winners. Samar, as we wrap this up, the fact that the Arts Sanctuary has put together this event, the fact that it has been so inspiring for so many people, we'd love to have your closing comments on why it's important to have platforms like these promoting art, promoting creativity, and promoting diversity and inclusion.
Yeah, I would say that most critical part is that when you feel that you are not part of that, whatever that mainstream is, your platforms are very limited and in every front. But at least I can talk about in creative space. Photography is a very much more easier tool, as we spoke earlier, and we can all make pictures today. I also would want to talk to young people here when they get very discouraged about that nobody is looking at photos. The way to work on this, continuing what I said earlier, that don't worry about the audience, is that you keep working on and keep building your portfolio. There are a lot of social media space, let's say Instagram page or something, and spend time on that. You will see that you discipline yourself that every week you'll put at least one picture or two pictures. Don't overload yourself, and you'll be surprised that in 3 months and 6 months, in a year's time, you'll look back and you'll see your own journey, how you have progressed, how you like your older images, or how you improvise on your skills. What that is going to do is it's going to make sure that you start getting more engaged in that, whatever the creativity, what we were talking earlier. Now, as far as going forward with I'm really, I want to just repeat that what you were talking about, the portraiture imagery. I'm really looking forward to what everybody's gonna do there, because now you're dealing with not spaces, but you're dealing with people. But again, don't get caught up into this tight portrait syndrome. It can be an environmental portrait where you shot somebody with the space, like you saw the architecture winner, where you had this person lying at the bottom of that spiral staircase. It fits both ways. It's architecture, but it can be also a portraiture. It can still be a human study with that environment around. So I like to see more diversity and take chances on your pictures. Don't get caught up into whether it's going to be a winner or not, because it doesn't matter. That's not what it is. As I keep saying, it's all about yourself, how you look at it.
Thank you, Samar, and I think really you've spent so much time and effort in judging this exposition and in choosing winners, and also today in sharing real words of wisdom with all the people. But I think for every friend of Anurag's who's joined in today and is sharing those wonderful messages, I think we all have goosebumps, because yes, today, I mean, the video that we just saw started with Anurag's images and Anurag's beautiful photographs that we've all enjoyed seeing, and yes, it's great to see it all come alive again. So big thanks to you, Samar. A big thank you to Shalini and to Nupur for putting this together. But of course, there are lots of questions coming in on the upcoming workshops, and I think I'm going to hand over to Shalini to share more details, because a lot of people do want to know about those workshops. But Samar, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks very much, Shweta. Thank you.
Shalini, over to you.
I don't have words. Seriously, Samar and Shweta, this has been an amazing conversation. It's been an emotional ride for me all along, but Samar, the way you connect with our young adults, and the way Shweta has talked about being a mother herself, I am just so touched and honored that the Art Sanctuary small initiative could bring out could make people understand how good you are, Samar, and how much goodness there is in this world. May we always continue to be able to tap on people like you, Samar, to bring them into our lives and the lives of the young adults who want to do more in the art space and have struggled for so long because the world kept telling them what you create is not really art. If you take an image, it's not really a photograph. You've just shot something. It's in your head that you understand what you've shot, but you've just you've just once again told us that it's the story that we are trying to tell that needs a voice, and that's the voice that hopefully we will be able to provide a platform for. And Samar, thank you for your support now and in the future. I know what it means to have you there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again.
So I'll quickly tell you people that everyone and anyone who is a photography enthusiast is welcome to attend these workshops. They're for free. Samar and Mohit are offering these workshops. They'll be for an hour at the time. All the details, including the Zoom links, will be available on our website, www.theartsanctuary.in, starting late tonight. This video will be there for you to enjoy. Copy this video, share it, use it. It will always be there on our website. But so will there be a link to exhibit.com, the word exhibit with a double B. It's an Asia Pacific based organization that leases out their virtual art galleries. And you can go over there and see, move your mouse and make a video game out of observing your images. Bring it, highlight it, bring a close up, take screenshots. It's a beautiful, beautiful website and virtual art gallery. All of you will enjoy visiting it and seeing your photographs out there. And for the ones like my daughter who haven't featured in either these 50s or in the winning entries, and she's been texting away, some are saying, no, me at all. I just want to say the fact that you applied, the fact that you had the courage to apply and send us your entries is what the winning moment is. It's not about the award. Yes, the ones who got the award are celebrated, and I'm so happy for them. But thank you for sending in your entries. Continue to send these entries. And as Shweta said, it is in participation that the spirit lies. And that's what the Art Sanctuary is about. We celebrate each and every entry that came to us. I feel personally blessed that I had so many of you connect with us and trust us with your pieces of art. So thank you. Thank you once again, very, very deeply, Samar.
Thank you. Thanks very much for the opportunity. Thank you again.
Thank you.
And good luck to everyone. I'm looking forward to the next thing.
Bye. Guys, now I'd like to introduce you to Nupur. As I mentioned, she's here with us today. And let me just give you a one-line introduction to the beautiful person who Nupur is. Nupur is a co-founder of India's leading interiors consultancy. And she's going to slap me for this. Interior consultancy and bespoke furniture outlet in the country. It's an organization that has been going on since 2005, and she has been a front runner in working with it. I've gone to her house multiple times, and I always gasp. Is this possible in a home like yours and mine? She is so beautiful in the way she does the interiors up. But not just that, she is a strong mother of twins, lovely twins doing so well. And in her spare time is a film critic. Nupur, I love to read your critics on the films that you see, now the Netflix movies that you've been watching. So thank you. Welcome on board this special journey we started. Thank you for giving me permission to hold this exposition. And now, whatever you would like to say, Everyone, we will wrap up with Nupur's words of wisdom. Over to you,
Thank
Nupur.
you. A very good evening, and thank you so much, Shalini. I don't know what to say, but whatever I have to say, I'm just going to read it out. The last 1 hour has been a surreal experience for me. Let me begin by thanking the Art Sanctuary and my friend Shalini Saran Gupta for coming up with this wonderful initiative. Thank you, Sameer and Shweta, for so graciously being part of this today. The Down Syndrome Federation of India for sponsoring us, and of course, to each and every participant, friend, well wisher, colleague, family for being with us today and always. Congratulations to all the winners, but each participant was a winner today. Anurag was indeed special. I understood that but could never articulate it to him as many times as I would have wanted to. He loved photography. He always did so, but the last few years it was his life. He and his camera were probably best friends. Every opportunity, every trip, any weekend, a free cloudy evening, a crisp morning, a drive, a walk was dedicated to it. Absolutely nothing came before or after it, as he was pursuing it with unparalleled passion. How do we remember Kishore Kumar? By maybe humming a few lines, or Maradona by watching football. The same way we can do Anurag when we see an amazing photograph. He lives in them. He would definitely be over the moon today. Yes, Anurag, if you can hear us, we want you to know that your legacy stays on. Thank you once more from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you so much, Shalini, Samar, Shweta, and everyone else who was involved with it. I can only feel very deep gratitude from the bottom of my heart. Thank you once more.